welcoming into the studio, we've got Doug. No, I'm just kidding. We've got Valentin Prince.
Hello.
Yo,
What's
thank you. Oh, just chin-chilling in my construction wear, as
I
you
see
know.
you got a red solo cup there.
Oh, you know how it goes, baby.
I wasn't given a red solo cup. I have this paltry mug.
Yeah,
But
that's because you got to earn your way to the belly button shots.
Right. We'll get there. It's still early as of yet.
Yeah.
It's 7 a.m. right now. The host is wasted.
That's why I'm only having tequila pineapple. Let's just start off from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. How'd you get here? What happened?
Man, like to this place in my life, like how did I make so many mistakes that I've ended up at this juncture in my life?
Yeah.
No. Well, I for music in general, I started playing Guitar Hero before I started playing guitar when I was like 7 or 8, something like that.
What was your go-to Guitar Hero song?
I mean, kind of all of them. I was pretty obsessed. This is a trend that I'll probably come back to, but I tend to get obsessed with something and just kind of pursue it all the way.
Yeah.
So I played Guitar Hero 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah.
That was a huge,
It was really good. It was really good.
Really fun.
Yeah.
And that kind of, I think, also set the stage for, like, my early musical taste. A lot of teenage boys kind of get into classic rock anyway, but that was like a fast track to all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then soon enough, I think the natural progression of ideation is, if I can do this, click these buttons in time, maybe I can play the real guitar,
Yeah.
I think most people fail, and I don't know why I stuck with it, but for some reason I picked up a real guitar when I was 8 and started getting really, really into that.
Whoa. What was the first song you tried to learn or did learn?
It's funny you should bring it up because I was just actually thinking about that and playing it, and there's a song called Secret Agent Man.
What?
Which has a very recognizable guitar riff. I forget who the artist is, but it was like a 50s like pop rock song, but my dad showed me that riff when I was 8, so that would be the first that I can recall playing. But yeah, my parents weren't like especially musical or anything. They each had a guitar in the house, but that was kind of the extent. My dad would sing some Bob Dylan songs, and we'd all cover our ears and whatnot. Poor guy.
Like a true family.
Yeah, exactly. And poor dads, they just try to express themselves anyway, and they just get shot down.
It's like, you got to destroy the whole patriarchy if you want to play guitar and be unjudged.
Yeah, seriously, you got to start there. Start with that. But he was enthusiastic about me learning it, and he showed me what he could, basic chords and stuff like that. So that was kind of my introduction. And then it was kind of like a guitar especially. It was really guitar-focused for the majority of my musical exploration. But when I was 15, I started going to open mics. Also at my father's behest, he was like, you should try this. You could probably do this.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Somerville, which is right outside of Boston.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I moved to Virginia in 2017 or something like that. So that's when I started trying to sing, and it was a very, very, very rough start from my perspective anyway.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't like a natural singer,
Okay.
I was interested in it.
Yeah.
And I've come, if you could hear how far I've come, it's pretty insane how bad I once was. But I was like learning to try to sing on stage at these cafes to very, very patient audiences.
In Somerville.
Yeah, in Somerville.
Okay, how far outside of Boston is that?
It's like 5 miles or less. It's really, really urban.
Boston gets this whole like I don't know,
Everyone's a jerk.
So,
Can we swear?
yes.
Can we swear on this or no?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Imply.
Yeah. There's a certain catchy term that people from Massachusetts are often given that I can't utter.
What can you give me some peripherals around it?
I'll make a note.
Yeah.
I can make an edit.
Oh yeah. Just throw it out there. Yeah.
A mass hole.
Oh.
Is a
I
term.
think we can say that.
You can say that. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad I asked her because I would have gone much further at some point.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was doing that for a few years, kind of cutting my teeth with like songwriting and exploring that. And yeah, it was rough, but people were very encouraging, you know.
Oh man! And you did that when you were 15.
Yeah, 15 and 16, like that couple year period, I was doing a lot of open mics and getting familiar with the stage and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad I did it then and kind of got my stage legs then and embarrassed myself then.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because I do think that has stuck with me, just being comfortable in the performing arena, you know.
Yeah.
But then I was not really performing or doing much musical for the next, you know, maybe 6 years or so. Like I mentioned before about getting obsessed with things.
Yeah.
I became obsessed with bicycles and traveled on a bike a lot, and just I was working as a bike mechanic. That was kind of my whole life, was bikes.
Whoa.
So I was still playing here and there, but I wasn't really focused on that.
What do you mean
for a
traveled
while.
on a bike a lot?
When I was 18, I rode my bike across the country
What?
with a buddy of mine. Yeah, so that was
Where'd you start?
in Boston.
Oh, that
in
makes sense.
Somerville, yeah.
You didn't
and then,
just fly with your bike somewhere else.
No, we rode. Me and my buddy Arlo, we rode from Boston to San Diego.
Oh. How long did that take?
4 months.
What?
Yeah, it was insane. And yeah, I was 18. They were 20. But
How do you come to that? How do you? Hold on.
yeah, there's a lot here.
You're 18.
Right.
Your bicycles are your world. You're a bike mechanic. I mean, if you're going to be traveling across the country, being a bike mechanic is helpful.
For sure.
But what was the trek? What was the goal? What was the drive of biking across?
I should credit my friend Arlo. It was their goal for sure to do this, and I think, the only person insane enough and with enough free time and with a lifestyle that would allow it.
Yeah.
I didn't go to college, so I like to joke that I've done like about 4 big excursions on a bike, and I
Yeah.
kind of joke that each one was like 1 year of college.
Yeah.
You know? Because I mean, you know,
What year of college? This is your freshman year? This is
would
your
have
first
been my
year?
freshman year
Jesus
of college.
Christ.
But I mean, yeah, it was incredible. It was extremely tedious, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
We were doing it the cheapest possible dirtbag way, just like camping out and sleeping in patches of woods and stuff. And
Yeah, do that at 18, not 35.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
Like, that's a great time to just rough it
yeah,
via bike.
it was great. And we met an unbelievable amount of interesting and kind people, which was really encouraging. Even in the most like podunk, you know,
Yeah.
freaky places, there were kind people.
Do you think that
So it was
experience influenced your music in any way?
I mean, it had to. I think I've always been a fairly pensive person. You know, I tend to like to think about things, and when you're riding a bike for, 8 or 10 hours a day, there's a lot of time to think.
Oh, yeah.
Sing to yourself, and I would like to think maybe some like patience. It certainly taught me a lot of patience and
Yeah.
determination, and I think that's all wrapped into the art form as well. Or who I am as well. But to continue answering your first question of how I got into music and how I got here, I lived in Harrisonburg. I moved to Harrisonburg after a bike trip, be part of wanting to pursue bikes more. And then I met some folks there, and I had a band called Prince Bellerose for a few years.
Would you consider that, when you moved to Harrisonburg, was that the sophomore year of your bike education?
I mean, no, there's more in there. I mean, there were other big trips, but I mean, you can hit all that too. But that would have been after. This is a funny way to think about it. After my junior year?
Yeah. What was so you're going into your senior year.
Yeah, going into my senior year of college, which I did not attend, College of Life. So yeah, I had a band there called Prince Bellerose, which is pretty formative. It was like my first time really trying to make music with a band, and learned a ton through that,
Yeah.
because that frontier of music, cooperating with others to make a live set sound good. There's an infinite number of things to learn there, So that was really cool. Learned a lot through that. And then I was in a band called Babe Lewis, which some folks may know from here. Just kind of a furthering of that idea,
How did Babe Lewis come to be as well? Like, you know,
Yeah.
you said that you moved to Harrisonburg, which, how do you get from Somerville to Harrisonburg?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard left that out. On one of these big bike trips I was doing, I met some friends of mine, Adam and Jess, who they were a couple from Virginia, and we ended up riding this trail together for like a month. You know,
Wow.
just because we hit it off and there was no one else out there, and we were riding the same trail. You know,
What trail was it?
it's called the Great Divide. It
What?
starts in Banff, which is in Canada, in Alberta, and it follows the Rocky Mountains to the southern border of the U.S., Mexico.
Oh. This is like the bike version of the Pacific Crest Trail, or the...
The Continental Divide is
yeah.
the hiking one. Yeah, same idea.
Cool.
But I met them, and they had a lot to say about the Shenandoah Valley, and they talked up a lot, and they said, "Yeah, come visit after the trip." And after that trip, I had such a good time, and I was just feeling so positive about life and travel and meeting people and everything. Going back to where I grew up, it just seemed kind of unthinkable, you know, like having set all this momentum going. So I knew I was ready for a big change, wanted to do something. So I got a job at a bike shop in Harrisonburg ahead of time. They hired me over the phone, which was very generous.
I mean, this is your big internship of your college career.
Seriously, exactly right. I guess I had some credentials.
You had major credentials.
But then I just made the move to Harrisonburg. I also like to joke that I'm the only person to ever move to Harrisonburg that wasn't going to school there.
Yeah.
You know? Not anything against Harrisonburg, but it's a pretty small place. And if you're not from there, if you're not going to JMU, you're kind of unlikely to end up there, you know.
100%.
So that's why I ended up there.
It's a cool place to end up, though.
It is. Yeah, have you spent much time there?
Yeah, I volunteered for Mac Rock last year.
Oh, cool, right.
But it reminds me of, I went to Evergreen State College in the Pacific Northwest, and it's a similar vibe. It's like artsy, weird kids who, like, it's a small downtown area where you can, but everything's walkable, so and everyone gets to know each other, lots of house shows. Seems like a good place to love bikes and music.
Yeah, honestly, like for a place as small as it is, it has a good amount of both of those. But you had asked about Babe Lewis. So Babe Lewis is the lead of that project is one of my best friends, Joe Harder, who is, in my mind, a creative genius, and he's just like way too humble to be cocky about it, where I would be if I had that level of talent, I think. But he was also in Prince Bellerose, so I've known him for about as long as I've lived in Virginia.
Have you ever turned to him and said, "Joe Harder, more like Joe Mama"?
You know what, Khadijah, I've not done that, and I think I need to do that.
I'm so sorry.
We should end this show now.
Yeah, we're
do that. Let me call him.
I let the intrusive thoughts win.
No, that's great. I love it. But yeah, he's been a big creative influence for me, and we've worked together a lot. But Babe Lewis it's kind of changed a bunch, and it's kind of in a transitory period. But it's his songwriting, so
It's really good.
yeah, I agree. It's really good.
Yeah.
He was looking for a live band and was kind of shopping around for a bit, and the version of Babe Lewis that I think people are most familiar with is Joe, me on bass, and our friend Dane Ludwig, who's played in a lot of bands on drums. And yeah, that was kind of like my introduction to touring. We just did a handful of very ambitious DIY tours out of my minivan, and learned a lot of that world and what's involved and how much money you stand to lose consistently, which you will. But also meet incredible people and kind of explore that end of things.
Does it feel worthwhile in the end?
Yeah, definitely.
What's the parallel between the like months-long bike treks and the months-long tours?
I mean, there has to be some level of overlap where you're sleeping in unfamiliar and uncomfortable places, and kind of having to accept that you're just giving yourself over to travel. You know, like many unexpected things will happen.
Yeah.
Many things that you hoped would happen will probably not happen. You know, you just have to deal with things as they come. So I think I was pretty well suited to that. I would like to think, just dealing with stuff, sleeping on floors and whatnot.
What's your take on uncertainty?
In general, as a concept,
Yeah, and yeah, over time, I guess.
I think there's a lot of it in life, and there always will be. And the sooner you can figure out a way to roll with the punches and always just adjust to whatever situation you're in, the better off you'll be overall. I've found that, and this extends to making music, like recording especially has been a realm where I've had to adopt this. Just letting go in general, letting go of what you think something has to be, how something has to go. It can often actually yield the best result. So, for example, with recording music, it's hard to do this, but I try to move forward with the smallest amount of a plan for what the song is supposed to be as I can, which probably sounds nuts.
Yeah.
But like just the barest sketch of something, and then I try to react to what's happening in the recording. Just through doing it so much, I've found that the harder you grab on and try to make it something that you think it needs to be,
Yeah.
it's just like you're not letting the idea breathe, and you're more likely to create problems and frustrations in yourself. But if you're willing to just be uncertain and let it happen and kind of just respond to the other parts that you're hearing, just good things seem to happen usually. It's kind of like this idea of I'm far from the first to say this, but a lot of artists talk about taking their art from somewhere else, or it's channeled through them, or something like that. You're channeling a muse or something. And it can sound kind of crazy. It's like, where did this song idea come from? I don't know. I just kind of plucked it out of the air. I was just there when the song happened, and I happened to record it. And it sounds kind of nuts, but I'm starting to understand what is meant by that. It's this very fine line of being just present enough that you have faculties to play your instrument or whatever, sing your song, but being so open and uncertain that anything can happen, and you just let it happen.
Being so open, I mean, doesn't that leave you also open to like harm and grief and failure and what's the allure then?
I think that's a good observation. I mean, you're kind of like, I think getting into a vulnerable state when you're making art, or I mean, honestly, just like in relationships and friendships and in life in general, like there are many benefits to being open and vulnerable. But yeah, like you said, you do risk getting hurt. I don't know. I don't really have a way to reconcile those ideas, because I do find that in my openness, I'm also letting in discomfort, with that. So I kind of just have to, it's like, what song was it? It's like a female country singer. You got to take the bitter with the sweet. Mm-hmm. I think that is extremely accurate in many ways in life and in art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess, I mean, how would you make music if you were cut off from yourself, including like
Sure.
being cut off from being open to what might happen?
Totally.
Great. Thank you for taking that detour with me.
Yeah.
We're gonna circle back
Yeah, sure.
around.
We can try to get back wherever the hell we were.
Babe Lewis touring together.
Yeah,
bicycles.
right. No, that's good stuff to have.
Yeah.
I
So
forget where we were.
yeah, you were talking about the comparison between like biking and being on tour. So
Right.
going on tour, when you were with Babe Lewis, I guess y'all are still together, but
I haven't been playing with them.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I went to. Mhm.
I guess the last time I saw them, you were still playing with them
Okay,
at the
yeah,
Camel.
probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, no hard feelings or anything, but it's like, for me, I'm trying to forge such a militant path forward with my own art. It's like
Yeah.
so much of my time and energy is now like writing, recording, promoting, unfortunately. I just didn't find that I had the energy to balance it all,
That's fair.
because Babe Lewis is also like a very ambitious project.
Yeah.
So,
And okay, so if we go back, let's just take a couple steps back.
sure.
Solo Val.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's start with Solo Val. Where did that erupt from?
Yeah.
What was the feeling? What were the underlying themes of Solo Val?
Solo Val was, so that was 2022,
yeah.
right? I think that's right. I'm glad you know. I don't know. I've always had kind of a pretty strong jazz influence, which in the past few years, I've kind of like, I've moved away from, or tried to, nothing against jazz. I love it, but
It sneaks in, I'm not going to lie to you.
yeah, it does, right? But for my development, I think it's kind of like served its purpose for me and all that. So there's an artist that I really idolize called Julian Lage. He's a guitar player. He played at the Southern in Charlottesville in 2021, and I saw him, and I was incredibly inspired, and I took his class. He did like a group class before the show.
Cool.
And it was me, and it was probably like 30, 50-year-old guys, because the only people that are into this kind of music is that demographic, which is really funny.
Yeah.
And but Julian was an incredible speaker, and just he's a massive talent. But he said a lot of things, but one of the things he said that I latched onto was, you should record yourself practicing. Like he took out his phone and demonstrated himself playing something on guitar on his like phone, and then listened back to it. And he was like, okay, this, like very literal. This is what you should do if you want to improve. And I really latched onto that.
Yeah.
So I started recording myself practicing guitar. And in doing that, listening back, I realized a lot of things. But one key thing I realized was this is actually pretty pleasant to just listen to.
Yeah.
Just kind of exploratory guitar. So that is when I had the idea to do a solo guitar album. And then I worked on that Solo Val for a while. And then I had the idea to do one every year.
Yeah.
Which I did for 2 subsequent years, so there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
But I've kind of let that die. It's just like so many other things I'm trying to also record and do.
It sneaks into Nexus.
Exactly, yeah. And that is kind of like the same ethos of guitar as a primary voice, not so much like lead guitar shredding, but guitar kind of singing, the guitar sings through the song. So that record, Nexus, is kind of like Solo Val in a band context. It's definitely more organized, and the songs have more definite parts and all that. But yeah, very similar world.
Nexus has a like country, southern rock, jazz blend to it. No lyrics.
Right.
How do you get from Solo Val 1 through 3, and then Kiss Your Hands,
right?
Then Nexus, and now you just released 2 songs in February and then in March, right?
Right.
Off of your upcoming album, right?
Yeah.
It seems like you are kind of attracted to these thematic ways of writing an album.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the undercurrent of that?
I don't know when I became obsessed with that idea, but you're right to notice that. And I think it is kind of a rarity. People still do make albums that have overarching themes and sounds to them, but I think it's kind of an old-fashioned idea.
Yeah.
I just love it. I just love making a set of songs that feel like they belong together. Or maybe another way to say that is I hate making a song that feels alone. Like it doesn't have other, It's like this one song that has this one production style. And people do that, and that's great. I mean, people love that. People listen to singles, and what I'm doing is probably irrelevant, but I still want to do it,
Why would you say it's irrelevant?
Because, the prevailing thought, I think, in music marketing, is like, it's really it's not albums. Albums are not what is being sold so much,
What's being sold?
So, I mean, honestly, I feel like like our data primarily.
Yeah.
But a single is a much more marketable thing, or maybe even like a section of a hooky single that you would, pantomime to on TikTok.
Yeah.
To get some attention that way. And I'm going to sound like a jaded old man, but I don't know. I don't like that form of the art,
What do you mean? You, a man who was at a workshop before a show with other 50-year-olds?
Yeah, no,
How
seriously.
could you
I know.
sound like an old man?
Yeah, old soul or whatever. But I do really like to make albums, I like to write a bunch of songs and then usually get excited about a production style or some kind of few elements that lead the vibe of the album, and then write songs in that style for a while.
Speaking of like lead up to that album or the production styles that you like, can you tell us a little bit about like what are the musical influences from jazz to obviously like Southern rock?
Yeah.
And what are the influences that you've had over time?
It's pretty wide ranging, and I have like really strong phases. So for a long time, I was, like I mentioned before, I was kind of just like a Guitar Hero kid, and it was a lot of, my early development was like classic rock, blues rock, traditional blues when I was trying to get into the open mic and singing scene.
What's considered, what do you consider traditional blues?
Robert Johnson, Mississippi John Hurt,
Yeah.
Lightning Hopkins.
Muddy Waters.
Yeah, all these guys, So that was a huge part of my core development. I think I really latched on to what is expressive in music, what makes me feel. And I think music has an incredible ability to convey emotion, I think more than other art forms in some way. And in a way that's kind of intangible. It just, you hear something and you feel, which I'm so fascinated by that. What are the little decisions or small things a performer is doing to elicit that? So yeah, early on, blues, rock. I was always kind of fascinated by jazz, I think in part because I didn't know what the hell was going on, and because even when I was listening to guitar solos that, from Stevie Ray Vaughan that I couldn't play, I could understand kind of what he's drawing from. He just had a much higher level of technical mastery. But with jazz, for a long time, it just felt completely like nonsensical. What the harmony is so complex. How could you ever possibly make that into music? So that was always kind of in the background.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed listening to it.
Who are your jazz influences?
I mean, so Julian Lage, who I mentioned, he's a jazz artist. Bill Evans was the first. Bill Evans. This is a common entry point into jazz. Bill Evans Trio, Live at the Village Vanguard. It's a famous jazz record, and I was obsessed with that. I thought that was incredible.
Who introduced you to that record? Was it your dad?
It might have been. He introduced me to jazz. He similarly was fascinated but didn't understand.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I think not knowing, kind of like the uncertainty you mentioned before, there's something really good there. The curiosity, and like chasing curiosity.
Yeah.
I think, and wonder, is a good thing to do in art,
Yeah.
Just try to find things that you don't understand or inspire you and just kind of chase those down. So jazz was that for me for a long time. But so there's that, but then also just being, a preteen boy in a public school. Mainstream music at the time was very much hip hop, rap.
What year is it, old man?
So I'm 30.
Okay. Listen, I'm your senior.
So yeah,
you're doing great.
Thank you, elder. So let's see. I was in middle school, probably like 2010. Like 2010, is that right? 2010, between 2010 and 2012.
You're in middle school then?
Middle school into.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I graduated 2009. So yeah.
So, yeah, and I think I was trying to pretend that I didn't like pop music like many pretentious artsy kids.
Yeah, you're
do,
like, I like Husker Du.
Yeah, exactly, right.
The Replacements are great.
Right.
It's like everyone's like, what about Kanye?
Right. But all that was also happening, so I think there's no doubt that also had an influence on me. And there's actually one specific month of my life that I recall because when I was 17 turning 18, I had a roommate who I thought was really cool because he was a drummer. He was a few years older than me. And he introduced me to 3 artists pretty much all at once that had a huge effect on me. They were Tame Impala, Mac DeMarco, and D'Angelo. And I think between those 3, if you can listen to any of the music I've made and hear, I think, some of that. Because I was really, those sensibilities are pretty foundational for me.
R.I.P. D'Angelo.
I know. Seriously.
Also, what a through line of just like life itself that you'd be influenced by D'Angelo and then end up in Richmond.
Yeah. Honestly, D'Angelo has been probably one of the like most consistently listened to over time artists for me. Mm-hmm. Like for different reasons. Because at the front end, I remember hearing Voodoo and thinking, man, like this band is insane.
Right.
You know, like I've never heard a rhythm section do this so well in such an insane way. But then later, revisiting on the vocals have always been insane, but then trying to emulate some vocal things. I mean, I'll never be him, but like that became an interest later on too. Mm. Anyway, so
wait, okay, I know we're going to be spiral about this, but we will come back to things. Yeah. Just to see the full circle. You're 15. You're at the open mic. Your voice is not very good yet.
For sure.
People are being kind.
Yes.
You're 17, 18. You get introduced to D'Angelo. When are you then trying to emulate D'Angelo?
I would honestly say like I think I was trying to emulate soulful singing the whole time. Like, because when I was an early teen, like 15, I was listening to blues guys and trying to do that, which is like, you can imagine how hilarious that is.
Oh my God, yes. I'm sorry.
Like a skinny white kid in skinny jeans, just trying to be a bluesman. But I think like the past couple years, as I've gotten to a point where I can like sing in high registers and stuff, and it's like more natural. So. Oh yeah, for
sure. God, what is it? I sent it to you off of Kiss Your Hands. Don't, no, because it's on the tip of my brain, and I love that song. I've listened to it like 17,000 times.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you.
The sentiment is that you've accidentally lost someone.
Yeah. Scared you off.
Thank you. Yeah. Scared you off.
Yeah. I'm glad you like that one. Yeah, no, that's one that's like the lead vocal part is around that kind of head voice mixed thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a really, really long road vocally for me. Like, I'll have to show you before we, like, off air how bad young teenage me was, you know? But yeah, the progress is really where it's at, you know? Yeah.
How did you make the progress? So, emulating D'Angelo is one way, right? But we're here now doing that 2025, 2026. What about 2022 to here, 2029 to here? What were you doing?
Yeah. I mean, like specifically vocally. Yeah. A lot of self-loathing.
That's how you get really strong.
I think it really goes a long way. I mean, and it's an ongoing thing. Like, but really I think recording and hearing recordings of myself, and kind of similar to what Julian Lodge taught me on the guitar, you know. Mm. But it's really on another level with singing, because when you sing, you're hearing you're hearing something different, just based off of how your voice resonates in your own body. You're hearing something different than what everyone else hears, and that can get really weird with singing, because you'll think you're doing one thing, you'll think you're holding back here, you think you're pushing hard here, and then you hear recording of it, and you're like, oh my God, like, that's what I was doing? Like, that can't be. There's something wrong with the recording. That's not what I was doing, you know? But it's true. That's what you were doing. So really recording myself and listening, and this is yet another thing I got from that lesson with Julian Lodge, was focusing on what's good that you did. He said to think about it like a producer would try to encourage an artist in the studio. So, like, you hear yourself singing on recording, and you say, these moments are really good. Punch that up. Mm-hmm. Do more of that. Yeah. That's been really helpful for me, because the things that are not what you want it to do are very obvious, But if you take all the little touchstones of things that you liked, my tone is really good here when I push this way. If I put just a little bit of vocal fry here. Like, that was really good.
Yeah.
And just kind of continually trying to build those. That's been really helpful for me.
Hmm.
And
That
just
also seems
recording in
like-
general.
No, no, no.
Recording in
I'll-
general, like on records, you're kind of forced to. I was trying to lead songs with my voice on polished albums,
Yeah.
and you were then like, okay, this has to be good.
Yeah.
Let's sit here and make this good, you know?
Yeah. There's like these like kind of, I guess, thematic things, right? That I'm noticing of recording yourself and wanting to get better.
Right.
Starting off with Guitar Hero and getting obsessed with it, then you picked up the guitar and you were like, I can get good at this. I believe in that, right? I'm going to focus on what I already like about this.
Right.
And then starting doing the same thing with the vocals, which is another instrument. And it's
Sure.
like, I'm going to record myself. I can get better at this.
Yeah.
Because our brains are going to just, whatever you focus on becomes the repetitive thing.
Right.
So it makes sense that if you focus on what works,
Right.
you do more that works.
It,
And you also like to have none of your songs be lonely. There's
Yeah.
there's something really tied to between those three
maybe
things.
it's just that I'm an extremely sentimental, romantic person.
You're giving me the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I like the way you phrased it. I generally, I think that music has a lot of overlap with language. And what I was thinking about when you were talking about if you just do something until you get good at it, learning a language is the same way. Like, we can both speak English very well.
Not to flex.
Yeah. You might have noticed that we're really good at talking in this language. But that's the brain does that. Like, if you just stimulate it enough with the same thing over and over and over and over again, it doesn't. I don't care who you are, you will improve. You know, people have different natural abilities, obviously, but I really do think that this is going to sound very trite and very motivational speaker, but you can do anything you put your mind to. If you really just do it and hammer it enough, you can get there. And to bring it back to bikes, I feel like some of that determination has kind of stuck with me musically as well, because I've been in situations where the only way forward was to just keep pedaling, and it's just tedious. You just got to go and go and go. But, you get stronger, it gets easier, it feels more natural.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with guitar or voice, I really dislike this compliment that I've gotten a few times in my life. People say that I'm gifted, which I know I'm so grateful for someone to say that. It's very, very kind. Part of me resents it because I feel like it doesn't recognize that I'm really just very stubborn.
That's your gift.
I think that, the gift is like, I'll just keep doing things until I feel like I am better at them,
Yeah. So do you think anyone can actually become deeply talented based on grit alone and sustained effort?
I think it has to be a combination of innate ability and grit. And I think, unfortunately, like, you just have to try a lot of things until you figure out what you may have, like, a predisposition for. Mm-hmm. So I do think, for some reason, I have some innate comfort in the realm of music. I think I kind of just happened to find that and then combine that with a lot of just tedious, boring, hard work. Mm-hmm. And I think that, like, not everyone's going to find that combination. I think I got lucky in that sense. I found something I bonded with and then doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on it.
Yeah.
Where
do you work now? Do you still work with bikes and in that arena?
No, I'm self-employed. This is a whole nother rabbit hole. But
okay.
My father passed away last year, but he
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. He was an old guy, and he was also always joking. He's like, I could be dead tomorrow. So it doesn't make it okay. But in some sense, we were all kind of primed for, like, he would literally say, I could drop dead tomorrow, and then, we would just go on with our lives.
He seems like such a zen guy.
He was a very, very interesting character. He
Yeah.
had this kind of entrepreneurial spirit and he relished in doing things differently. I think to a fault at times.
Well,
You know.
he didn't want to repeat things that had already worked, like strategies that already worked in the past or something.
Well, more like, I mean, there's so many examples. Like he'd deliberately sleep on the floor. Like as my whole life, he was a floor sleeper, and he was always bragging about how his back he felt so great, and he had great posture.
Oh, it felt great.
Yeah, he was like, I love sleeping on the floor.
Oh.
Everybody should do this,
Yeah. That's awesome.
I mean, yeah, he was another huge inspiration for me in many ways. But
Yeah. But was it actually bad for his back?
I don't know. He's not really the type to go to a doctor, which may have why he met his untimely demise. Who knows? But
Yeah.
But he created this business that he named the Prince Gallery, which is our last name.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a picture framer his whole life, but like in a very blue collar sense. He was doing custom framing, cheap, and yeah. So he started this business, and I wanted nothing to do with it. You don't really want to do
What your parents
what
did.
your parents do. It's not
Yeah.
cool, right?
Yeah.
But in 2020, I decided to try it because I was kind of just fed up with being an employee. I mean, it's there's a lot of downsides, and I was really creating my own time.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave it a shot, and he helped me get set up as best he could, and now that's what I do. It's mostly like retail of small prints, like matted artworks.
Wow. And you frame them
Yeah.
and ship them out.
This is another one of my father's wacky business models that I just took.
Yeah.
But he always had a booth at an antique mall somewhere, like just a little side income.
Yeah.
Like a group shop, you put your stuff in there and then you can walk away.
Mm-hmm.
It was never that much money, but he would always say, man, if you had, like 5 or 6 of these, you could probably make a living. He would go on with his own stuff. And I was like,
It's like time to sleep on the floor.
yeah, exactly. And so I just tried that.
Whoa.
And, I'm definitely not getting rich by any means.
Yeah.
But I'm supporting myself with that. So I have 5 locations of those. That's how I make my money.
Way to listen
Yeah.
and then act.
Right? It just goes to show, kids, if you hear a crazy person talking, you should do what they say. At least try it.
That's what the show's about, is life lessons.
Right.
At least give
But-
it one go. I mean, if that guy's life's going pretty well, which it sounded like your dad was like living truly authentically himself.
Oh, for sure. There's no doubt about it.
So you're in different flea markets?
Yeah, antique malls.
Antique
yeah.
malls.
Yeah, there's one. The one in Richmond is at West End Antiques, which is on Staples Mill.
God, thank you so much. I've been trying to remember the name of that spot because
It's
the guy
really cool
who owns Richmond Bookstore, I think he has a booth there too.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I have a weird life. There's no doubt about it.
Nice.
I've made it work my own way. No college education except for years on a bike.
I was going to say, I mean, I think you've done college. I think you've done grad school.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about that is that it allows me to have control of my time. So I can spend a lot of time in the studio, and I have my own studio space that's new for 2025. But
Oh, how does it feel to have your own studio space?
well, I share it with 2 buddies. One or two are kind of on the out, so I'm pretty much the only one who's usually there.
That's pretty
So
nice.
it feels like my own. But to answer your question, it's awesome. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
to be able to pursue those creative leads pretty much any time. That's been huge.
Throughout all these adventures and then like fixations and then expansion, have you? I mean, I imagine while you're biking, you've thought about your values. What would you say your top 5 values are?
Oh, wow. I've never been asked that question. Well, I mean, kind of like I said before, with one of the key takeaways for the first big bike trip was that there are people that mean well, and want to do good everywhere. I think that you can find people, there's good ones and bad ones. So I'm trying to tie this into how that would be a value. But I think people are good, generally.
Good
Is that a
faith.
value?
Yeah, like good faith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, something in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I try to reciprocate that, people have been very kind to me when there's no real reason to, from my perspective, it's just some kid kind of passing through their town on a on a bike with a bunch of weird bags hanging off it. And you're like, sleep in my lawn, you know?
Yeah.
Come home for dinner. So that had to have created some good value there,
Yeah.
you know? And I think, tying back to, like, bettering yourself as a musician, I think people are more capable of things than they realize. That could be a value somehow,
yeah.
you know? Like,
Wait.
pursue the things you want to do.
What? Can you talk about that a little bit more? What do you mean people are more capable than they think they are?
Like, if somebody, like, for example, some guy said to me at a show, if I had a voice like yours, I would sing all the time. He actually said something more vulgar, but it was still positive.
That's a good faith.
Yeah, I thought that was very sweet and very generous. But he said that, and I thought it was very generous, very kind. But as someone who always thought they just sucked at singing and there was, you know, like no way to improve, and then eventually I realized you can get better.
Yeah.
If people just, I mean, not just try, you know, people's lives get in the way, and like everyone has different circumstances, you know, they might not have the time to go practice, but if you can allot the time to pursue your dream, I think you can do it. It's just like setting your mind to doing it. And then for me, you know, orchestrating your entire life around this goal. So maybe easier said than done, not for everybody.
Everyone,
but
this is the crazy guy we were talking about earlier with the idea that you should listen to.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. I actually do. Like, situate your life around the dream that you have.
Yeah.
That way, you will never forget where you're going.
For sure.
You know?
No, truly. I mean, yeah, like, similar to, like, I run a business too, and, you know, there's a similar amount of dealing with not knowing what's going to happen, with uncertainty and doubt. I think for a lot of this stuff that I'm pursuing, you have to act and then consider, which sounds like horrible advice. You know, you should look both ways before across the street. Maybe just walk in the street and then see if anybody hits you.
Yeah.
But really, it's like I've benefited so much from taking risks, and then it works out, and then it's like a positive feedback loop, you know. But people who want to start a business or want to get better at a skill, there's this idea that it's like, when I'm ready, I'll then do these X, Y, and Z. I think you have to just leap.
And the net will come.
And or won't, because you can, you know, failing. So many things I've done don't work out, you know. You have to become really comfortable with failing too, but.
What would you say is your best failure?
Honestly, I think my best failure would be this relationship that ended. That was the inspiration for the record "Kiss Your Hands," because even though, I mean, failure is a tough word for it. You know, it didn't work, but it caused so many painful feelings and so much introspection and reworking of myself. But it brought forward so many good things too. So much music, so much personal growth. I would say that would be my top failure, if I had to, in scare quotes, failure.
Yeah.
It's a recent one, so it's probably more in my mind.
Can I ask how recent?
That was in September. And then that record came out in November.
You put that out fast.
Yeah. I recorded all. It was like my Bon Iver moment, you know, like lock yourself in a... Luckily, I had the studio.
Wow.
So I just holed myself up in there and recorded every day for 2 weeks. And just, that's how that happened. I feel like you can only do that once. Like, you can only be that...
Heartbroken.
Just like completely mentally destroyed to where that works, you know?
I think a lot of people had some... okay, maybe I'm just talking about me and you, but
a lot of people in this room,
the huge number of people in this room had, you know, some really earth-shatteringly, you know, break your heart open. The wound is where the light comes in, Sufi style.
Yeah.
Things from like what seems like August to November.
Oh, in 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like something was like an ending of cycles was coming into play.
I've noticed that in my friend group as well. There were quite a few
Right?
catastrophic breakups.
Right?
I wonder what that is.
I mean, I keep saying this to people. It's the year of the wood snake, Chinese New Year.
Oh, right. That's
And and also it's a year 9, which is a year of changes and stuff. But I mostly just think that maybe it's what I feed my brain in the way that you talk about, what you pay attention to. But I mostly just think that we're all much more connected and aligned than we think, you know? A lot of
I've
shared
done
patterns. Okay, perfect. Then that's covered.
No, not to bat that thought away. I do agree. I do like connection. I think in music I found that a lot too, where it's, you know, a band's playing in a room and everyone's feeling it. It's like there really is something undescribable.
Yeah.
Or indescribable.
Both, probably.
Probably both.
Yeah.
About that feeling of connection, you know. I think there's something there. I think, you know, science has no real words for that. Many religions have many words for all of that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm kind of blissfully agnostic, you know.
What's your word for it, though?
For that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess my word would be, I don't know. It's something. It's something.
It's jazz.
It's, yeah. Maybe it's jazz. Maybe it's jazz. Spirituality and music. I don't know. Because I do think religions do offer. I'm not religious, but I see that they offer really good things for most people in the world. You know, I think community is a huge one, and I have music as my community. I'm really lucky for that. If not, I would have to find something else. I guess outdoor people and bikes. That world was my community. But
yeah, I think
it's important.
It's just like there's church everywhere.
Yeah,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I think about religion, I think it's like people who are able to have a shared language about the experience that they're having.
That's a great way to describe it.
It's like you can find that if you're willing.
Are you religious?
I'm faithful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm more of like a mystic, Sufi mystic kind of vibes.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
even that I've kind of started to let go of, honestly. I think I just am trying to pay attention, mostly.
It's good to do. There's a lot to pay attention to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Before we get to the last question, I just do want to give you a chance to talk a little bit about the 2 songs that you put out. I know Broken came out in March.
Yeah, right.
And then in February...
She Knows.
She Knows.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about those in the upcoming album.
Those 2, those are singles from my upcoming album, For Real. And yeah, I mean, that was in summer of 2025 when I was really excited about having the studio that I mentioned. And a lot of that music is just, holy crap, I have a space where I can record drums.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to mess around with MIDI drums and, oh my God, you know, like, this is amazing. So most of that album is kind of like just pursuing that feeling. You know, ear candy and a lot of very rhythmic, forward songs.
Cool.
But yeah, you know, I am excited about it. I am proud of it. It is not my most emotionally deep work. I'll have to give you a copy of the vinyl comes with a lyric sheet.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ironic because it's like, I would say the least lyrically deep or intelligent music I've probably ever made.
Oh, congrats on the healing.
But yeah, right. But yeah, the music is just really fun, and this is mostly what I play out with a band is this record because it's just very easy to grab onto. You know, it's a lot of hooks, a lot of like danceable rhythms, and
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thank you for the CD. I'm gonna blast it
Yeah,
in my house.
totally.
Honestly, it's gonna be great.
Let me know what you think.
I will.
I believe you.
Our last question that we like to end on is, you know, there are times when we can look back and think about, I guess I'll speak for myself and say, there are moments in time where I didn't realize like how good something was or how like much fun I was having or how present I was. And so now I try not to miss it. And I'm wondering, what is it that you're ensuring you don't miss right now?
Man, that's a great question. That's really nice. I think, honestly, like this point in my life where I feel I'm really seated in my path, you know, and like I feel like I know where I'm going. The art that I'm making feels like it has impact for me and others. It's starting to, rather. Like that, there's a lot of excitement and hope around my life and my process of art. This moment, I hope I don't forget, you know. No matter what happens going forward, I'll most likely crash and burn. But hopefully I can remember this time as, you know, really good.
Yeah.
You know, I think striving for something is really important for me, as I've probably outlined in so many ways. And I want to remember that.
Yeah. I mean, I think you've done something really profound. You've taken a loving approach to your own time. You know?
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I'm extremely, extremely lucky. Even though my life has had a lot of events and setups that people might consider unlucky or just weird, you know, I would say I feel like one of the luckiest people still, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't grow up with any money and like didn't go to college and, you know, just kind of, I had loving parents but no real like path laid out for me. I think a lot of people might consider that unfortunate, but I don't know.
It's looking pretty
It's
good.
kind of worked out so far.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful, really, really grateful.
Nice. I hope that your luck keeps getting proven right. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
For
It's
sure.
been a pleasure.
This pleasure's all ours.